Everyone, welcome back to the shop. It always cracks me up when I set up a shot and I'm like, okay, the car fits in here and it's not too tall and everything. And then I go live on YouTube and everything is completely different. It's far wider, it's far taller. So I apologize. I'm going to kind of reframe you guys here. Fixing what I fixed earlier so that I could fix it again. So I apologize that it comes through super, super weird. The other thing I need to do, and I forgot to do this before I got here. Let me get the car where we like it. That's better, correct? Yeah. Got a bunch of stuff done on the car the last couple of days, and these were kind of smaller things that needed to just be addressed. So one of them, like I just showed you, was leveling out the drop. So on the controller, there's it's called FBSS, and that's front, back, side to side, and that means you can control the airbags in the car, and you can do, front or side or whatever you want to do. And there's also a main button that does the whole car up or down. So what I wanted was the car to drop with that main button level. Originally, I had it set up because there's going to be a lot of weight in the back, so it has a much slower drop rate. But I changed that, and now everything drops at the same time. So the front drops pretty equal to the rear. I will have to adjust that once all the water's in there. Let's see who's here. Oh, hey, Liz. Uh, so that got adjusted, and it works pretty nice now. The difference is we have a ton of weight up front on the car, so that drops very quickly compared to the back where it takes a while. So when there's water back there, they'll drop pretty evenly as well. It's very odd when you hit the down button and the front goes boom and hits the floor real quick, and then the back's like, psst, and it takes a little while to match. So got that adjusted. I got to look at the board because I did a bunch of little tiny things. Oh, we also put a new steering coupler in it. The steering coupler, I think the old one is gone. The steering coupler, it's also called a rag joint. That's kind of the nickname for it. It's a piece of it's a piece of rubber, and you have two metal pieces on either side, and it's for vibration in the steering column, and it gives you a little bit of wiggle room there, so it's not a jolt. You're not feeling every single piece of gravel on the road. So you have a little piece of rubber in there to help you with the steering. Now, the original one from the original car from 1980 was still in there. And the problem is when you're driving the car, you have a ton of play in the steering wheel before any sort of action happens. Now, a lot of that is also because of the steering design in this with the Pitman arm, and the steering box is incredibly old. We have all new power steering fluid in there, which is a great thing, but you still have just tons of play when you're trying to drive straight down the road. In order to keep it straight, you have to do this. So I got a new steering coupler. They're about 40 bucks, somewhere between 30 and 50 bucks. And it's very nice. It's all brand new. Unfortunately, it is also still rubber. So apparently the guys who make steering couplers have never heard of urethane. So might have to send off an email because a urethane steering coupler would actually be a really nice thing. You would have a lot less play in the steering. Now, there's probably only maybe an inch. You can actually drive this car with just one finger. That's how nice it is. And that's saying a lot for a 26-foot car. So that was one of the things. And the steering couplers are kind of odd in the fact that they're attached to the steering column. It makes it kind of difficult um, to get off. Usually, you have to grind. The factory will put on a uh, tapered pin, and that's then hot riveted on there. So you have to grind that off. So you got to protect your engine bay. You got to burn a hole in your cloth that you're using to protect your engine bay. Um, you can take the steering, that section of the steering column out and put it in a bench and do it there if you really want to. I just did it on the car. Mark was over here grinding away, and I'm like, Mark, the blanket's on fire. And he's like, oh shit. So yeah, the steering coupler is much, much nicer. It's brand new. It's not 40 years old. The other one, served its duty very well. It performed up until a couple of days ago. But yeah, it's a lot better now. The car still does need an alignment, and on this car, it's it's a lot harder to do an alignment than it is on a modern car. Obviously, everything is more difficult on this car. It uses shims in order to adjust uh, camber, so and also caster. So most of the time, what you're going to get with this car is what's called toe and go, and that's where they adjust the toe on the car. Whether towed in, towed out, straight, a little bit of toe in, whatever. And so on this car, we're just going to do a toe and go because I think everything else is actually pretty good on it. We'll measure it and make sure we're at least pretty close within spec. If we're super huge out of spec, then I'll have to source some shims. Those shims are really hard to find. They're like a little fork, and you loosen the bolt and you slide the shim in, and then you tighten the bolt, and then you measure. And you do that a bunch of times, and the shims come in different thicknesses. So it's a real pain in the ass versus today where you just have a thread and you get under there and you watch the computer screen and you thread and there you go and lock it down. It's a little different today versus these. But the good part was when these were done, they were kind of done. They were kind of locked in place. They couldn't move. You could beat the shit out of them and they would sort of stay in alignment. So it took a lot to really get them out of alignment. So we will double check this one just to make sure. And I also, I want to make sure the steering wheel's at 12 o'clock, that sort of thing. So um, there was that. Got the air ride. I don't know why this fireworks popped up. Oh, and then the other thing, and this was me being just insane about this. The car is so loud. Like, yes, obviously I want the Viper to be loud. I want the Miata to be loud. I want these other cars to be loud. This one I don't really want to be loud. So I'd much rather have it a nice smooth tone. Now, when the Ding Dongs did the exhaust on this, they put like Flowmaster 40s on there, which are like a super loud truck exhaust. They're not quiet in any way. The other problem is there's about 2 inches of pipe at the end, so they're going to be loud. It doesn't really matter what you put on there. So definitely going to have to work on the exhaust and get it changed out. I did double check the exhaust gaskets here in the engine bay at the collectors, and those are all in great shape and all torqued to spec. Uh, Went through the header bolts. Mark found a couple of header bolts that were not torqued to spec. Got those tightened up. Even with that, it's still pretty loud. You get a lot of engine noise, mainly through the cowl here because there's nothing here. So a lot of that engine noise, what's happening up here, comes straight through the windshield and straight over. So that's one of those things. A cowl here would really help quiet at least the front end of the car. The exhaust portion is going to be loud. That's just how it's going to be. Mm. And also, still can't find this stuff anywhere. Rockstar, what the hell? So, got all of that set. And then that was all since I saw you folks last. So, like Thursday, Friday. And then Saturday, took the car, kind of I'm going to say a soft launch because it's not completed yet, but took the car to a huge car event just up the road in Englewood called it's once a month and it's the Dearborn cruise in, and proceeds go to a charity. I don't remember the charity. I want to say American Veterans. I don't remember the name of the charity, but they have I don't know, 300 or 400 really kick-ass cars. You have to get there. You don't have to get there 2 hours early. You got to get there in the morning. So it starts at noon and it goes until 6. And we got there. Mark took the Miata. I took this. We got there just before 11 and it was already full. It was already packed. So got very lucky. I got a really cool spot. that made it very easy to park the car because this thing does not park easy. It's way huge. I can't put it in regular one of the regular on street parking spaces. Even at an angle, it still sticks out way too far. Or the ass end goes up on the sidewalk too far, and that's kind of a pain for people walking. So I had picked out some spots thanks to Google Maps, and I was like, okay, any of these, because they're angled, but they have a little extra. They don't have quite a full parking spot, so they're like striped off. And this car would fit in one of those. That would work fine. Of course, those are filled. Everything fills up really easy. I'm pretty sure everyone gets there like 8 or 9, and they have breakfast at one of the cool cafes or restaurants down there. And they kind of park their car and walk around and check out the rest of the cars. So we got there kind of late, but I found a great spot, and it was next to it's a parking lot for a barber shop. They were obviously closed, and um, the best part was it was right by the sidewalk. So as people were walking down the sidewalk, so say from the back of the car, they would walk past. They would actually come around the sign for the barber shop, and then surprise, there's a huge limo with a hot tub in it. And I wish, I mean, I kind of stood back in the wings and sort of watched people's reactions to the car. And I should have set up the GoPro just to set it on the dash, just for people's reactions when they came around the corner. It was absolutely fantastic. There was a ton of laughter. There was a ton of, you know, what? No way! All of that. There was a ton of that's so cool. Um, there wasn't anything negative. There wasn't anything, oh, this is stupid or anything like that. A lot of the old time guys were like, they would giggle, and I don't know, I probably had 5 or 600 people come up and talk to me about the car and ask me a ton of questions. I actually there were people that actually got in the tub, and there was a lady who called it a cata catacuzzi, Cadillac jacuzzi, catacuzzi, something like that. It was very funny. And then there was a family, and they had a couple of kids, and the son, absolutely loved the car. He thought it was crazy how the doors open. He thought it was nuts. So I said, "Hey, you want to get a?" They were taking the mom and dad were taking pictures of the kids, and I was like, "Hey, you want to put the kids in the tub and get a picture?" And they're, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So that was really fun. Those kids absolutely had a great time. The son was he was ecstatic. He loved the car, everything about it. I showed him how it goes up and down, and he it just blew his mind. That right there, that 60 seconds is why we do all of this insane stuff. Why I'm up till 4 o'clock in the morning replacing a steering coupler. Why I'm rolling around in cat litter, getting exhaust bolts tight, is for that 60 seconds when that kid is just enthralled with the car. That's why I do it. That's why I do all of this stuff when, I take the Viper out or when I'm racing at the track, to have that next generation look at you and go, hell yeah, that's what I want to do. Or hell yeah, that's really cool. That's why I do all of this stuff. That payout, like the MasterCard commercials, it's absolutely priceless. So that's why I keep going. I want to do more. That feeling, that internal feeling you get, it sucks you in and it drives you. It's totally addicting. It drives you to, let's do the next project. Let's go to the next event. Let's, go to the next track day. Let's do this stuff. And it's a brutal addiction. It's brutal, but it's a good one. You know, it's not like alcoholism or anything like that. It's a good addiction. You're like, hey, I want to do this, and in the same time, at the same time, you get to learn stuff about different vehicles. You get to learn stuff about different tracks, about different events. What are the cool events? What are the ones that are just for lining pockets, that sort of thing. And you get to meet a ton of cool people. But for me, the big thing is when the kids' faces light up and they're just absolutely what's the word? Gobstopped. That's a good one, right? At the car. That's a ton of fun. Now, not even an asterisk, but the Miata actually got a ton of love too on Saturday. It was parked a couple of cars down from this. There was a 32 bucket with a big Wyand 871 blower next to my car. Well, there was another street rod too. I don't remember. It was there for a little while, and he took off like I don't know, probably about 1 o'clock. Um, and then there was the 32 bucket with just a small block with a big blower on it, and then there was a sand rail, and then there was a Miata. So it was a very cool little lineup of just super eclectic cars. There were a ton of other really cool cars there. There was a pro touring Corvette that was just and it smelled so good. Who else is here? Oh, hey Nikki. How's Nova? I hope everything is good there. Um, Speaking of, we were just talking about the up and coming generation of car people. There's an example, and Liz has a daughter too. So those are the those are the reasons that I'm doing all of this stuff. When those kids' faces light up and just say, "That's so cool, I want to do that," or "That's so cool, I want to do something like that." That's why I do all this stuff. That's why, like I said, I'm picking cat litter out of my hair, doing exhaust bolts, and you know, uh, hands covered in grease and cuts all over my arms. It's because that 60 seconds when that kid says, "Hey, I really like your car. I think it's really cool." That's totally worth it. It's a great feeling. I get that when the kids smile at me out of blink. Oh yeah, I did the Miata blinky light thing for not only for the same kids that were in the tub, but I did it for two other kids. They were looking at the Miata, and one of the kids was like, "This car's so happy," and I was like, "It's the only happy car." And you do the trick with the Miata. I don't know if I can. I'll show it to you guys sometime. If you press there was a button so you can raise the headlights, so you can change out the bulbs. And if you press that button really fast, it'll eventually the motors will get out of sync and it'll do wavy headlights. Now there's also computers. There's stuff you can buy to do like half headlights, and you can program them. But you just hit the button really fast about a dozen times, it'll start to go out of sync. So that's another fun thing to do. And I don't know, I'm definitely not a kid anymore, and I still think it's fun as hell. So there we go. Yeah. um, Silly Miata tricks. And then uh, I don't know if you guys can tell, I definitely got sun because I couldn't get out. I couldn't go into the shade because I was always talking to people. If I wasn't on this side of the car, I was talking to someone on this side of the car. If I wasn't at the back, I was at the front. It was always one of those. I would try and like walk around and come to the other side of the car, and then someone would be like, "Oh, is that your car? Oh, yeah." And now all of a sudden I'm talking to this person and I'm just getting baked. But it was worth it. It was really nice. It was a lot of fun. Um, there's a local guy here, Dan Kovalik. He got some shots of the car too, which is pretty cool. He does a bunch of pictures for a bunch of the car events here in Southwest Florida. And I didn't get to talk to him, but I saw his post on Facebook earlier, and he's a really cool guy. Does some really cool pictures. So what else? And then today, you guys can't see it. The motorcycle's right here. Wonderful motorcycle ride today. It was very warm out, lots of sun, but I had my watch is telling me to take a moment. Uh, Lots of sun, but I had the helmet on, jacket, pants, so I didn't get cooked today. But I had a really nice ride. It was absolutely beautiful. And then about 7 o'clock, just a power washing storm came through, and then at 7:30 it was all done, and here we are. It's a beautiful night in Florida. We are at 78 degrees in the shop, 73 degrees outside. So uh what we've got coming up, I I'm going back to Ohio. I'm hopefully I'll get to live stream with you guys before I go back to Ohio. uh Going back to Ohio on Wednesday. doing vinyl on Thursday, and we'll be live from my shop in Ohio on Thursday. And then Friday, I will try to live stream from the track. Some of our prep stuff will be at Mid Ohio, and I'll try and do some stuff with some of the other drivers, with Ted, with Craig, with Jeremy, with Liz, and maybe with some other Lemons people too. We'll try and get them on the live stream and see if we can have them come over. And then Saturday and Sunday, we'll be live streaming direct from the car. So it'll be here on this channel, and you can tune in. I hate saying tune in. You can click on anytime from 8. I think the race is 8:30. So 8:30 to 5 on Saturday. It might be 8:30 to 6, and then from 9 to 4 on Sunday. And we're doing it per key switch. So we might have multiple drivers on one stream, but you'll be able to tell who the driver is because their name will be on the jawline of their helmet. So when you're looking at the camera in the car, just read the name and you'll see who's driving at the time. One of my Mopar truck friends said he didn't think much of the Miata until he drove one. And then he's like, these are the most fun slow car. Yeah. Everyone makes fun of a Miata right up until the point they drive one. Trust me. I was the same way. I totally thought it was, you know, for a very specific male demographic. I'll leave it at that. It is not. It is, if you love driving, Miata, and I don't care if it's NA, NB, NC, ND, doesn't matter. NA's cheap, easy to work on. NB, super handling, bunch of upgrades. NC's much bigger Miata, tons more features. ND made it a little smaller. Suspension's great, new engine. Come on. I mean, they're just great cars. And they're also, you're gonna, I don't know, you're gonna have fun in one. So if you're trying to stay under, 15 grand, you can get an NANC, NANB for under 15 grand that is ready to rip. Um, and even under 10 grand, you won't get a hard top, but yeah, it's the way to go. So yeah, Sunday I believe is until 4, and then I told a ton of people about the race. One of my friends will be racing at Barber, but he's going to tune in between his runs. Oh, that's cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's funny at the track. Sometimes other Lemons racers will be watching your stream. You'll be going through the paddock, like going to the bathroom or whatever, and you'll see their monitor up, and they're watching your stream to see where the hell your car is. It's very funny. I've had that happen a couple of times. It happened at Road Atlanta once, and it happened at Pit Race once. It's very funny because you're like, hey, that's my car. Why are they watching my stream? Shouldn't they be watching their own? It's pretty fun though. And so yeah, that'll be Saturday and Sunday. We also still working on the theme, so we'll do a theme reveal on Thursday when we're putting the vinyl graphics on the car. I'm just waiting for one quick message from one quick person that says it's not offensive, and then we're good to go. Gonna pick up vinyl from my buddy Sam Gofarb, who's been doing my vinyl for 12 years, 13 years. Sam's awesome. He's on the south side of Columbus. He's got a huge printer and he does really great work. Really, really nice vinyl. So we'll have vinyl for that. I'm also going to pick up some vinyl for the Limo. So the YouTube channel for the Limo, I told you guys about that. It's at the Hot Tub Limo. So if you haven't subscribed to that already, please do. That is just going to be Limo stuff, and most of the stuff is going to be edited. Very few live streams, and actually minimal editing. It'll just be a lot of very fun clips from when we take the car out, but it'll only be the Limo. There won't be Viper stuff. There won't be Miata stuff. It'll just be Limo stuff. So if you haven't subscribed to that, please do. That would be great. If you want to see more Limo stuff. If you don't, that's fine. We'll have plenty of Limo stuff in here. There's tons of stuff still coming up. The headlights, which I'm going to try and get the first frame done before I get on a plane, but I'm not quite sure. I'm still got a million things to do before I head out of town. So I'll try and do that. And then still have the plumbing to do on the hot tub. And the guy who was doing the holding tank, who came down and I showed you guys the scans, didn't I? We did a 3D scan of the trunk, and we're trying to maximize the holding tank area. Anyway, waiting to hear back from him on cost and lead time on that holding tank. Because once we get the holding tank, it'll go very quickly. We just need the two pumps and some bolts. So it'll go real quick once we get the holding tank here. So I think that's about it. By the way, the car is very clean. I know it looks actually halfway decent here. The paint is driving me nuts. The paint kills me on this, but we really can't paint until we get. You guys can see it over here. You can still see the shit graphics that I sanded over. You can still see all that stuff right over here. Oops. Oh, I can't see those guys. And then all of a sudden I step on them. I didn't mean to step on you, buddy. God, you popped like a zit. Stay out of the garage. There's been a lot fewer the last couple of days, but still, I can't see those guys. So, what else? Yeah. So once the holding tank comes, the limo is going to be really close. The other thing I'd really like to do is get a 12-bolt rear end. I would like to get posi in the back, whether it's through this 10 or I'd like the more industrial 12-bolt rear end for posi. The car does do great burnouts, but they're still peg leg burnouts right now. So I'd like to get both wheels going. And this engine has no problem dumping out torque, and it'll have no problem doing a big burnout while it's loaded. Um, with the water in there, we're going to add about 1,500 pounds in the back. So, yeah, we should have no problem. Should have no problem. That's about it. I just wanted to get you guys an update about how awesome yesterday was and how much fun it was to have those, to interact with all those people. And yeah, I told the same specs 400 times, the same story, the same information, but I don't care. It's not one of those things that I'd rather have the people know than, you know, just kind of blow them off. Definitely don't want to be that person. So tons and tons of fun. People love the car, and we'll definitely take it out more. Um, Definitely want to do more trips further away. Now that I've got the reliability, I've got the gas gauge. Oh my God, it goes through gas. I went through a quarter tank of gas just going. That's like 20 miles. 20 miles there, 20 miles back. I went through almost a quarter tank of gas. So it is also running very rich because it's still on break-in miles. I've got less than 100 miles on this engine, so I still have to run it a little bit rich just to be safe. And so, yeah, it goes through a lot of gas, a lot of gas. And with gas prices being as stupid as they are right now, trying to be a little careful, but you can't. When you're driving this, it is so much fun. Literally every car looks over at you. Doesn't matter what side of the street. The thumbs up you get are great, and it's nice to see the joy in people's faces when they see this. It is something incredibly ridiculous, but it puts a smile on people's faces. It puts a smile on kids' faces. That's a huge thing for me. So I'm really enjoying this, and I can't wait to get it where we can drive it at night, where we have the fun lights on it, where we have a stereo system, that sort of thing. So we are going. We crossed a major hurdle. It's now running driving starts with the turn of the key, no problem. So we want to keep going on that, finish up the headlights, finish up the tail lights, and get the plumbing done. And it'll be a ton of fun, a ton of fun. So yeah, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, please put them down there. I'm happy to answer those for you. Whether it's about the limo or the Miata or the Viper or my truck or the motorcycles or whatever, let me know. I'm happy to answer the question. What else? Oh, we also have Tail of the Dragon coming up. That's coming up at the end of May, and actually end of May, top of June. So I'll try and do some live streaming from there. Definitely on the trip up there because it's like a 11-hour drive and 10-hour drive up there. And I am going to take the Grom again this year. So I'll take the Viper and the Grom, and uh, I think that's about it for stuff that's coming up. The let's see what else. Oh, the next Ultima 600 is in October. I was kind of hoping they would have one before then, but I also understand that Freedom Factory's like booked throughout. They've got a ton of stuff. My buddy Speedy Cop is going to be in town while I'm at Mid Ohio, which kind of sucks. I was really hoping to see him, but I'm going to catch him at a different event that he's going to be down here for, and he's working on some really cool new projects. So definitely check out Speedy Cop either here on YouTube or on social media. He's got a lot of cool stuff up there. And gonna hook up with Speedy Cop when we're at Tail of the Dragon. He lives up by Tail of the Dragon, so if I can, we'll do a live stream with Speedy Cop and check out some of his crazy rides. I want to check out Glitchy. That's just me. I love Glitchy. I think Glitchy's crazy. It's a lot of fun. So tons of more stuff coming here. I'm going to start adding stuff to the Limo channel. So you guys, hopefully you like that stuff. Hopefully it's fun, silly, whatever. If you don't like it, whatever, let me know. If there's something you want to see, either with, the Miata, the Viper, the Limo, whatever, shoot me a message and I'll try and do specific stuff. So whether it's electronic or suspension or engine or whatever, let me know, and I'll try and get in there and do something a little more detailed. Um, I think that's about it. Uh, I'll try and catch you guys before I head to Ohio for the race and get you an update on race car and theme and graphics and all of that stuff. I really do like doing the theme reveal on a live stream. So if I can, we'll do that on Thursday night. I'll take all the gear up there and we'll do that. So I think that's about it. Trying to remember, I don't have a script or an agenda or anything like that. Yeah, that's about it for now. Um, so yeah, thank you guys very much for checking out tonight. I hope everyone had a nice Easter. I hope you had a good time with your family, friends, all of that, and uh, didn't eat too many peeps, no sugar rushes or anything. So uh, yeah, I will catch you guys on the next live stream. We'll do it again. Maybe tomorrow night, but maybe Tuesday night. And don't forget to show someone that you love them. Give me a kiss on the cheek. Give me a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but should we raise it back on? It's far more important for you. So thanks, everyone. We will catch you in. We'll catch you in a couple of days, a day or two. How's that? Does that sound good? All right, cool. Thanks, everyone. Does sit pretty damn low.